good childhood. Like, my parents were together, they stayed together, and we went on family vacations, and we went to church on Sundays, and I did vacation Bible school because that's what we did. And I knew that the basics: Jesus died on the cross for our sins, he rose 3 days later, and you get baptized, and that's what you do, and then you're a believer and you're going to heaven. Growing up, I played softball, and I got along with people, and I loved animals, and I just had a little normalcy, little girl upbringing. And when I hit 13, there was an incident that happened with a guy, and an older guy who was 17 years old in my neighborhood. And I just brushed it off like it wasn't anything because I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, and it was kind of my fault because I didn't tell anybody and I didn't scream, so I just kept it by myself. Well, I started smoking pot when I was 13 years old, and I didn't think it was a big deal. All the other kids were doing it. It really wasn't that big deal. We did it a little bit on the weekends, or I'd hit something here or there. It was not anything that my life was not affected by it in any way, so it was not a problem to me. By the time I hit 14 and 15, I'm smoking regularly every single day, and at 15 years old, I decided that I want to start doing cocaine, and I want to start rolling on ecstasy, and I want to start doing harder drugs that do affect you, but at that age you don't know that. So 16, I met a boy, and I was in love, and he loved me, and he was never going to leave, and I was going to do right. And I got one good thing out of him. I got a beautiful little girl, but that went until I was 18. Well, this guy was older than me, and he did a lot more heavier drugs than me, and every weekend partying soon became every morning on the way to school. In high school, I was stopping and doing a little bit of coke on the way to school, or a little bit of this on the way to school, and surprisingly, I kept my grades up. I played softball. I always wanted to play pro ball. Growing up, I was a fast pitch pitcher and soccer, and that's what I was going to do. I was going to go to college, and I was going to play ball, and my parents were going to be proud, and that's just what I was going to do. That's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. Soon, all I wanted to do was get high, and I was fighting with my parents all the time at home, and while I'm blaming it on them because they don't understand, because they're old and I'm young and I want to do this, and they've never been where I've been. They've never been my age. They don't know anything I'm talking about. So I didn't look at it, my attitude, because everything started to just, I was miserable about everything. Well, I turned 18. When I was 17, I moved out, and I moved in with him because my parents just can't take me anymore. I would leave in the middle of the night, and just like, when I snuck out for a couple of days. Like, I didn't sneak out and come home that night, or, I'd disappear, and that was that. And then I'd come home when I wanted to come home. And when they called me, I'd tell them I'm not coming home until I get ready to come home. And so I had to leave, So when I left there, I moved in with him, and as y'all can assume, things just got worse from there. Well, when I was 18, we moved to Alabama because I was not only using but selling narcotics. And my mom actually called the police and told them what was going on. And when they pulled us over, they told us to take our dope and leave Mississippi. So I went to Alabama, and when I got there, I found out I was pregnant. And bondage is strong, y'all, strong. I knew I had another human inside of me. And I still used every day. And I got to a point to where I was like, I gotta stop, or I'm gonna kill this child, something's gonna happen. So I left, and I come back home to my parents, who just welcomed me back in, and they helped me. I got clean, and I quit smoking. I quit everything, and she was actually a week past due, 8 pounds and 12 ounces and 21.5 inches long. No jaundice, no nothing. I mean, she was a huge baby and she didn't want to come out. And she was super healthy, and I was just like, thank you, Jesus, like, this child, there's no way. I didn't even find out I was pregnant until I was 4 months pregnant because I was not paying attention to my body or anything that I was doing. Like, they were telling me what I was having right after I found out I was pregnant. So things went good for a little while, and I had this beautiful little girl. Her daddy had come back to Mississippi, and we were doing good. We were going to do good, and she was 8 months old. He decided that this is not for me, But so he left, and we've just been kicking it ever since. When he left, it came not good again, and I didn't know then what I was doing, but I know now because I know Jesus. But every time there was a void, every time there was a feeling, every time there was anything, those drugs could numb it just enough to where I didn't have to worry about it for a little bit until I could do it again. And so when he left, I went back to the same thing. I went back to selling the cocaine. I went back to using lots of the cocaine. My child was not ever with me. She was at my parents' house all the time. My parents did not want to be around me. Nobody in my family wanted to be around me. Be honest, none of my friends really wanted to be around me anyway, friends. They just came and got stuff and they left. It was still a very lonely existence. So I thought people wanted to be around me. It wasn't because of who I was, because I was a terrible person. It was because of what I had to give them, because they were too in bondage. Well, I keep using drugs. It's just like, for years this goes on. When she's 3, I meet a man, and we get married, and we have a son. So I guess I could say that I was a functioning addict for many years. And back in 2010, my husband and I got divorced. I was on my 3rd treatment center, and because I became an IV user of Dilaudid, and that will mess some stuff up. It will mess some stuff up. My daughter basically raised my son when he was little. Like, she was giving him bottles, she was changing him, she was doing what I was supposed to be doing, because I was either passed out from the high the night before or too high at the moment to do anything. So I robbed her of her childhood. Well, in 2010, my husband decides that he can't do it anymore. That he just can't, he cannot do it, he cannot go through it anymore. Which I didn't understand, because he was selling the drugs I was using. And he was using the drugs with me. So I was very confused as to why he was just giving up or whatever. But when we got divorced, he got my son. And I didn't have anywhere to go, so I took my daughter to my mom and dad's, and they said, she can stay, but you gotta go. Now, I have stolen and stolen and stolen from my parents, and I have screamed and yelled and kicked out windows and broke, just terrible, terrible, terrible. And they should have put me out of their lives way earlier, and they didn't. They hung in there as long as they can. But at that point, they had my daughter, and they had to think about her. And with me, as destructive as my life was, I couldn't be around it. So they got my daughter, and he got my son, and then that was it for me. The next 5 years of my life was rapes and beatings. I got attacked by 8 men, and they kicked 2 of my back teeth out and shattered my jaw. I have 3 metal plates in my face. And all of this was because I wanted to do what I wanted to do. Jana would always tell me about Jesus, and my Nana, God bless it, my Nana, let me get this letter. My Nana had told me about him all my life, and I just, I'd hear it, and that was that. But I've been arrested. I have 20-something misdemeanors and a felony, monthly visits to Rankin County Jail. And,
Got your mugshots up?
huh?
Got your mugshots up yet?
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
can put those up. I forgot.
Matt, will you throw the mugshots up?
These are some of my mug shots where my face is just like, and some of them where my face is swollen. Those, I had just gotten jumped by those men, and within 2 weeks I'd been in there twice, and then the next month they got me again, and then, I made a name for myself, and it wasn't a good name at all. I could not ride down the road without getting pulled over. I hated going out during the day, so then that kept me in even more, because I wouldn't straighten up. All I had to do was straighten up. But I didn't know how. I tried. I went to 6 different treatments. I did not know what to do, so I thought that there's no hope. I've tried it and I can't do it, so this is just who I am. I was born an addict, I'm gonna be an addict, I'm gonna die an addict, and probably of an overdose. That was what I thought. And I had overdoses. I had 2 heroin overdoses. Heroin became my drug of choice once I lost my kids, because that's the one that can really numb it all. So heroin and meth became my drug of choice when I lost my kids, and I've had my stomach pumped, and I've had 2 heroin overdoses. And God just kept keeping me alive and keeping me alive. The last time I was in jail in 2014, now y'all, no one ever bonded me out of jail. All the trips that I took, no one ever picked up the phone on the other side. No one brought me clothes, the whites. No one wrote any letters. No one even knew, I even wondered, do they even know I'm in here? Would they even miss me if I was gone? Well, one morning, I had been in there a few months, and one morning at 4:30 in the morning, because that's when they did it, we had a mail call, and I heard, King. And I was like, this is a mistake. I know I don't get mail. Well, I go up there, and it's a letter from my Nana. My Nana, while I was in my bondage, in my addiction, would pick me up and take me to eat and feed me, and she wouldn't shake her finger at me, and she would tell me about God, and I knew what I was doing was wrong, and she knew that I knew what I was doing was wrong. But she would still love on me, because my Nana is a God-fearing woman and has the love of God in her. And I got this letter from her, and it's kind of mean. There's a lot of mean things in it, but it's truth. It's all truth. And my 15 years of an addiction that I ruined many lives other than myself. But there was one place where what she said caught my attention. Where what she said I had heard her say many times before. But I guess at that moment I was just broken enough to hear it. She said, there is a way. And that way is to surrender your life to Jesus Christ. I know you made a profession of faith as a child, but with your life as an example, I'm not sure your profession was real. If it was real, nothing you've done is too bad that God won't forgive you if you ask in sincerity. Life can be hard even for a Christian, but we can call on God to walk with us through the hard times. And it was this right here. You can ask God in prayer to take away the cravings for drugs. You can ask God to help you make better decisions. You can ask God to help you be the mother He wants you and made you to be. At that moment, I was like, I don't have anything to lose. I might as well try it. And I hit my knees right there that early in the morning, and the first thing out of my mouth was, God, you're going to have to show me something. I don't trust anybody. I don't believe in anything. And I don't know if I believe in you. But if you are who my Nana says you are, you can do what my Nana says you can do. been so evident ever since. And now I can look back on everything, those 5 years that I was out there in the deep, deep darkness, in the deep, deep pit. There was a man that messaged me on Messenger through Facebook, and he was like, I want to ask you a question. I said, okay. He said, why do you live the life you do if you don't have to? I was like, sir, you don't know anything about my life, or why I do the things I do, or why I am who I am. And he said, well, I don't mean anything, I just want to pray for you. Now, this man is in a different state, and I don't know him, and I just thought, he's just crazy. Well, over the next 5 years, like every maybe 6 months, this man would message me. I just want you to know I'm praying for you. I hope everything's going good. And I'm just like, okay. Well, when I got out of jail after this letter, while I was in there, God delivered me. I noticed that I wasn't craving drugs anymore. A week had gone by, and I hadn't even thought about them. And I was like, I don't even think about them anymore. So I started getting in the Word, and I started praying, and I had joy and a peace. I was comfortable in jail for the first time. Like, I was comfortable, I was okay. I didn't check to see when my delivery day was, when they were gonna let me out. I wasn't even worried about it. Like, I was okay. But when I got out, I had nowhere to go. Over 15 years, you burn a lot of bridges, and you mess up a lot of stuff, and people that can help you are done helping you. They don't trust you anymore. You go to 6 different rehabs, you say you're gonna get clean every single time, they do not trust you anymore. So I had no choice but to go back to the hotels, back to the junkies, back to my previous life. And for 3 days, first 3 days I was out, I was up, I was high. But I felt different. And it felt bad, it did not feel good, and I didn't know what was going on because at the time I never even heard of the word conviction. I had no idea what it was. But it was conviction, and I was sick to my stomach with it. Well, I'm sitting in the Walmart parking lot with a girl that's going in to get some stuff for us to do our IVs with. And I get a message. My messenger goes off. And it's this man that's been praying for me all these years that I've never even met or talked to. And he said, hey, how's it going?
Thank you, Lord.
And for the first time, I actually responded back. I never even would respond to him after the first time. And I said, not good. Like, I want to change, but I don't know how to. I don't have people to show me how to. My people do what I do. I know I want something different, but I don't even know where to start because I don't have anything. I had flip-flops on my feet, and I had jeans, and I had on a white t-shirt I had worn for the last 6 months in jail, and another white t-shirt and white sports bra and a garbage bag. I didn't have anything, no license, no nothing. I just bought a toothbrush. And I said, I don't know what to do. And he said, I want you to get on the bus, and I'm going to bring you to Florida. And I'm going to tell you all about who can save you and deliver you and make your life better.
Amen.
And I said, sir, you don't understand what I'm saying. I have nothing. And I think about these next words that he said to me all the time. When I get a little stressed about this or I start freaking out about this, I think about these words and how God showed them to be true. He said, God will provide. You don't worry about all of that. You get on the bus and you come here and God will provide. And I thought it was crazy. And I was just like, okay, God's not going to take me shopping. God's not going to take me to get something to eat. But I got on the bus anyway because I had nothing to lose. He was a preacher in Florida, and he set me up with another preacher and his wife that had just had a newborn baby that did not know me from Adam. They told me that God told them that I would be okay to bring me there, and they brought me there, and they showed me how to seek out God, like seek Him with my heart, and I chased God for a year. And God started doing things that I didn't even think to pray about. Because at that time, I just started believing, I thought, even God can't fix that. Like, I'll ruin that, even God can't fix that. My brother hadn't spoke to me in 5 years. My dad told me he didn't have a daughter anymore. He wanted nothing to do with me. He did not want to speak to me. I was not allowed past the white fence. I was not allowed on their property. They had both of my kids. While I was in jail the last time, DHS called my mom. The only time I got to talk to my mom, they brought me out of the cell back up front and told me I needed to call her. It was about my son. And I was like, oh my gosh. Now this is after the letter. And after I said okay to God, DHS called my mother and had removed my son from my ex-husband's house, and now my mother has both of my kids now. And she's like, if you're ever gonna get your life right, you need to do it now. And so I'm trying. So I go to Florida and I'm down there for a year. I've been home for 3 years. I have full custody of both of my children. I've been clean. I don't even think about it. I don't even think about it. It does not even cross my mind. And it's still, every day I'm just in awe of the things that he can do and the things that he is capable of. Because I know how hard I fought this addiction. I know the cost of my praise and my oil. I fought and fought and fought, and I couldn't do it. But he did.
Amen.
And all I had to do was ask him. And I just didn't know that, y'all. It is hard when you don't know God. And that's why, look, the jail that I've been in over and over and over, I now minister at. And I get to go talk to these women and tell these women what these people told me. When I went to Florida, it was the first time I'd ever seen the true love of God in people, and I could not believe it. They loved me where I was at. They clothed me. They fed me. They put a roof over my head. They never judged me. They never thought I was too far gone. I did. I thought I was hopeless, but they just kept on and kept on and kept on. And the blessings that they have brought. My house is on my parents' land, behind that white fence, right next door to my mom and dad. And me and my dad are closer than we have ever been. Me and my mom are close. Me and my daughter, she's 16, so there's that. My son, I have him too. He's back there. There's just things that, he's 10. Well, he's just to be 11. It's his happy birthday weekend party. Yeah, party. But God is so faithful, and he is so good, and he is so worthy of all the praise. There is no way, absolutely no way, the person I was that anything could turn that into this. It's like he started picking out things that were of the world that I wanted and started putting in things. One day I just realized when someone was cursing, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. The music that I used to listen to, I can't even, it's like he changed my heart completely. I was very heartless. I did a lot of illegal things. I was affiliated in gangs. I've seen a lot of bad things that did not bother me. And now to think back on it, it makes me sick that I could even sit there and see it. I ruined a lot of lives for my own selfishness. But that's not who I am anymore. And I'm okay. I told Tim the other night, I was just like, it's so crazy. I get so excited about going and telling people how terrible of a person I was. It just like, I was so terrible. And I get so excited about telling them about it because I know what else I get to tell them. I get to tell them how Jesus Christ saved me from that, and how he restored relationships, and how he gave me back my children, how he redeemed me, and I am now made new. And he calls me by name, and he loves me. Oh, he loves me. The void that was full from his love that I would look for in men or drugs or just anything that would make me feel whole. And I looked for men to tell me my worth, if I was worthy. If they didn't want to be with me, I'm never going to be good enough. I'm never going to be good enough. But I have an assigned worth from the King of all kings.
Amen.
And there is no man in this world that could ever make me feel that. And I know that now. There's a peace, besides all the things that he gave me of this world, my children that he gave me back, the relationships, being able to clear up all my record stuff and finally get a license back. I didn't have a license for years. I still drove but I didn't have a license for years. Yes, and they knew my car too, and they just be like, Brittney, you know you don't have a license. And I'm just, I don't know what else to do. So, yeah, straight to jail, but, I have a peace that is unexplainable. Even when because there's still been trials, y'all. There have still been some stuff going on since I have been saved. It has not all been just, this is great, and this happened, and this happened. There have been some really hard things that have gone on in my life. There have been some things that have involved my children. There have been some things that involved my parents and my father's health. There's been a lot of friends of mine over just the past year that have died of overdoses. A lot. But the peace that I have, I don't have to worry about stuff. Like, when situations come up, I know to give it to God and to pray for His will, and that His plans are better than mine. So if it doesn't seem like it's working out, I just know to keep praying and keep waiting and just stay there and let Him do what He does best, because I am not God, and He is. And I know that now. I was once Lord of my life, and now Jesus Christ is Lord of my life. So, okay.